not all these kids, but the majority of these kids in the top 10 have had things handed to them since they're in 3rd grade because they're special athletically. And the fact that they get humbled a little bit, I'm here for the humbling. I've been humbled. I like when other people get humbled.
But you were humbled later. Yeah. You weren't humbled at 22 in front of the world.
No.
You were a grown-ass man.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
For those people who use YouTube, there's a new feature that is powered by AI. And what is this exactly, Simon?
So let's say you're watching Yankees highlights, and you can say, YouTube, when is the next game at Yankee Stadium? You see that information on the screen. How much is the cost? What seats are available? You see that information on the screen. All right, call the Yankee Stadium box office. I want to make a reservation for 2 tickets.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Team feels slow, it feels old, it feels uninteresting. It just kind of feels like a lot of guys who are quality ball players, some big contracts, but are just like lethargic when they're out there. Like Manny Machado moves in slow motion, so does Nick Castellanos, so does Xander Bogaerts, so do a lot of these players in this lineup. And I might be piling on a little bit too deep, but this was supposed to be a contender for a World Series.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
We may be talking about this as one of the best divisions in baseball. It's not generally something we do, but if the Pirates just hold court and the Reds just hold court and the Cubs are in this thing, I mean, the Brewers are going to be there in the end too. I mean, that's 4 of the 5 teams. I do think the Cardinals are going to push back at some point, they'll fall back a little bit, but I got 4 teams with a possibility of making the postseason here, Donnie.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone A. Johnson here. As always, a beautiful Wednesday here in New York City. Going to be 80 degrees. Got a great show for you today. Tons of stuff happening. NBA play-ins are now underway. Had 2 really good games last night. First one goes into overtime. And, of course, LaMelo Ball, who had a great night. Dan had a triple-double with 30 points.
He did not have a great night.
Had a great night.
He played like garbage in that game.
Had a great night.
He played
carried
terribly.
the Hornets to an overtime win.
No, he did. He was the 3rd best player on his own team.
They're now 1 win away from actually being a playoff team, if I may. But no one's talking about LaMelo Ball's beautiful performance last night.
Play well
as a basketball player.
Good.
But they are talking about the fact that he grabbed Bam Adebayo's foot. Very reminiscent of Joel Embiid's dirty tricks.
Far worse.
Against the New York Knicks and
far
many
worse
others.
because he wasn't coming down until he reached for.
Okay, and Bam Adebayo did not come back into that game. This was in the second quarter that happened. We wound up going to overtime. Some questionable coaching decisions late in that game as well. But congratulations to the Charlotte Hornets and one of the best guards in all of basketball who was brilliant last night, LaMelo Ball. While Con Knipple was a no-show last night, LaMelo Ball led the Hornets to, it doesn't count as a playoff win, but they're 1 game away now from actually being a playoff team and getting swept in the first round.
He was 2 for 16 from 3.
From 3.
Yeah,
Three is not the only aspect of the game.
He was 12 of 31 overall.
He had 30 points last night.
Yeah, on 31 shots.
And check out his assists and his rebounds.
Yeah. He
had a triple-double.
No, he did 5 rebounds.
That's right. It's 5 away from a triple-double.
He did almost.
Yeah, guy was money last night.
Last night's game was competitive.
Very competitive when it's overtime.
And it was exciting late.
Except for the fact that I missed 30 seconds of a late possession.
Yeah, because
Prime decided to cut out. I don't know. It's one of those things like, it's an edge of your seat game.
Yeah.
Back and forth, back and forth. I thought when the Hornets went on 5 with under 30 seconds to go,
it's over.
It was a wrap. But then you get the crazy 3-pointer from Tyler Hero, and then some fouls and free throws, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm watching the game like you are because I'm a basketball fan. And then all of a sudden, my Prime goes out. And I'm sitting here going, I'd give it 10 seconds. 10 seconds is about my wiggle room when something goes out.
Yeah.
And then, you check your own TV. Is it my TV? Did it go out? Then I turn the power off by mistake. Then I turn the power back on. Then I got to log back into Amazon last night. No basketball. And it was out for like 2 full minutes. We lost about 20 seconds of game time. So essentially 1 possession. But did yours go out?
Now on my
'Cause mine
iPad,
went out.
on my iPad it didn't.
So on TV it did?
I believe it went on all the TV.
Yeah. I'm trying to watch this game. I'm like, what the F's going on, Amazon? I paid my bill. I got 2 days shipping for free.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I got another death whistle coming in the mail today.
A death whistle?
Yeah. Oh, I never let you hear the death whistle?
No. Well, we probably shouldn't play.
Yeah,
on
I'm going to
the
get
air.
it. You talk about how great Melo is.
Okay, now the bigger part of the LaMelo Ball story isn't his play at all. It was his blatant dirty play that took
which
Bam.
you know all about. As
No,
a
I
Sixers
know
fan.
nothing about that. That took Bam Adebayo out of the game in the second quarter, never to return.
Correct.
Now maybe the Hornets still win and it doesn't matter, but
maybe not.
He is the Heat's best player. Talking about Bam Adebayo, and more importantly, their best defensive player. Some of those possessions late where they were getting rim runs don't happen necessarily with him
So
out
the
there.
picture you're looking at right there, that's in the second quarter. LaMelo Ball's on the ground there. He's got his left hand around the back, the heel essentially, of Bam Adebayo, and then he kind of sweeps that left hand forward, like you've seen in a karate movie kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he gets that foot off the ground because Bam's other foot's off the ground. Bam falls down very hard on his coccyx. Coccyx?
That's right. You had it right.
Coccyx bone.
That's right.
Which is like the small of your back.
Right.
Now, I think he's soft not coming back personally.
But you don't know the injury yet.
Like memo to Bam Adebayo. When you're scoring 83 points in a Fugazi game, all of a sudden we can't get you off the court. But here you are in a playing game with a chance to extend your season, which is now over, by the way, and you can't get your ass back in the game?
You don't know the injury yet.
You can't rub some Tiger Balm on that back?
You don't know the injury
You
yet.
can't take some penicillin?
You don't know the injury yet.
You can't take some NyQuil? You can't
NyQuil didn't play basketball?
Yeah, you can't take some Ben is gay? Nothing?
No. It's
so
called,
when you drop it 83 against a
but
team
that
quits,
product is not the. It's not
you
a different
can't
product.
come off the court, but when we need you on the court in a playoff game, you can't come back on the court?
Isn't the product Ben gay?
Yeah, Ben's gay.
No, you're saying it wrong.
It's called Ben's gay.
No, it's not.
Well, then it doesn't make sense.
It's called Ben's. No.
Yeah, I think
Ben
so.
Gay.
Oh.
That's just
Well, I
that.
added an S.
You don't know the injury yet.
Yeah.
So if it comes out that
The
it's
injury is, I think perhaps he needs some
What?
Massingale.
No, what are you doing? What are you doing? See, you got to be careful. Why? Why do you have that?
That's the Bam Adebayo death whistle right
Why
there.
do you have that?
Because I saw it in a TikTok video. I thought I should buy it.
Well, what are you going to use it for?
It makes it sound like there's a woman in the woods who's crying for help.
Right, why are you doing
Because
that?
I go outside my backyard when my kids and wife get home from like wherever they're doing.
You want to scare them?
And I blow the death whistle
To scare
so they
them?
think there's like a lonely woman in the woods being assaulted.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah. And then I just videotape them going, call the police.
Your son's 15. Why are you
Yeah,
traumatizing
it works
him?
best on him.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
He's a kid.
It's an hashtag death
Of course it
whistle.
does.
You never had an hashtag death whistle in the house?
No.
You can borrow mine if you want.
I don't
Your
think
wife
so.
will not like it at all.
I don't.
Like imagine if your wife's watching those Airbnbs you guys have on like Nest or something, and all of a sudden she hears, she's like, "Oh my God, call the police!"
that's not a good rental experience.
Anyhow, the NBA is now investigating LaMelo Ball last night. I'm kind of. Look, it was a dirty play. I know his excuse after the game was that he had just fallen down himself. That's factual. He claims he hit his head.
But Bam wasn't over
Not so
top
much.
of. If Bam was going to land
he
on him,
reached out.
That's
He called that the Embiid. You know all about it.
No, Mitchell Robinson was above Embiid.
He still grabbed him.
Now, he shouldn't have twisted Embiid, but he shouldn't have. I'm saying it out loud.
Yeah.
But it's different if the guy was going to land on him.
Essentially ended the next season.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
Mr. Robinson wasn't right the rest of that
His
postseason.
ankles have never been right.
That's also
His
true.
ankle's wrong now.
So I think right now, I know they're investigating it.
You can't do anything.
I think LaMelo Ball is going to be fined for it.
Yeah.
But they're not taking LaMelo Ball out of the game tomorrow.
No.
They're not. Because LaMelo Ball, whenever we think about his game, he is one of the young stars of the NBA. Now he plays for a team that gets no love.
Right.
Is never on television. I think next year that'll change because with Con Knippel now being either number 1 or number 2 in Rookie of the Year, him and Cooper Flag are 1 and 2.
Yeah,
you
right
want to
there.
slice
Yeah,
it. The Charlotte Hornets are now a legitimate basketball team. They're a 500 basketball team. They're going to win 40-plus games. They're going to get better, more mature. And I don't think the NBA, which is a league based on promoting stars, is going to now say to the Charlotte Hornets, we are taking your best player off the court. I think you can fine him.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if Embiid got fined.
He was fined.
I don't think he was suspended.
He wasn't suspended.
Yeah, so I don't think he gets suspended. I don't buy his excuse of what happened. He says, I had no idea what I was doing. I hit my head on the ground, didn't know where I was.
You stayed in the game.
Man, you reached out your left hand.
Right.
You grabbed the dude's ankle, back of his foot,
right.
and you swept.
Right. What do you think was going to happen?
Now, maybe you didn't mean to hurt him, and he did say he was going to go up to him at some point after the press conference
and apologize.
And check in on him and apologize, which that doesn't mean anything to Heat fans, obviously. But I don't think he's going to be suspended.
No, he won't be suspended.
Now, if I was a Knicks fan or you were a Sixers fan and it happened in that manner where our best player got knocked out, we'd be crying bloody murder today.
Of course.
That LaMelo Ball should be suspended.
Of course.
Right?
The other part is this is not the first time. In 2024, he's just going back up to court. LaMelo's sitting down, and he just grabbed Bam. So I don't know if it's just a coincidence. Does he have an issue with the guy?
And he didn't fall down on that one, but he did grab him.
He just grabbed him. Yeah. He was sitting down on the court, and he just grabbed Bam for some reason. No one seems to know why. My issue with that guy in general is he has to control himself better to be the star you think he can be.
Yeah, I think he's the top 5 point guard in basketball.
He lacks self-control. I don't want him at the keys of my championship team.
He plays like it's a street league. It's like he's in the N1 mixtape tour. That being said, when's the last time that we had the Portland Trailblazers and the Charlotte Hornets playing postseason basketball in the same year? Like, I don't think that's happened in 25 years, maybe longer than that. So, basketball's underway. The Sixers are in action tonight. We'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. Give Taro a chance to handicap the Sixers' attempt to extend their season. And we've got the conclusion to the Vrabel-Russini story, all coming up after this.
I got to tell you, Kansas basketball the last 3 months, if I was the number 1 player in the country, I'd cross him off my list. Bill Self did not do Darren Peterson any favors. And now Badunga's going to stay in college but leave Lawrence? I'm red flags in my game around the Jayhawks.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
The fact that we are seeing now multiple states propose, not just prop bet bans, but getting rid of online sports betting altogether really shows kind of the pushback that the industry is facing right now, and kind of the crisis it has to make sure in the public spotlight that it's being viewed accurately, and that it's working with lawmakers on common sense proposals.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
We may be talking about this as one of the best divisions in baseball. It's not generally something we do, but if the Pirates just hold court and the Reds just hold court and the Cubs are in this thing, the Brewers are going to be there in the end too. I mean, that's 4 of the 5 teams. I do think the Cardinals are going to push back at some point. They'll fall back a little bit, but I got 4 teams with a possibility of making the postseason here, Donnie.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
All these idiots out there sounding off on Tiger right now. See, it's so easy to go after a guy that's hurt. He's hurt. Whether you call it whatever you want. He's got a little bit of an issue and he's going to fix. Okay? They're attacking. Attack. Why don't you all shut up and let him go do his thing? He had to leave the country to do it because of privacy? That's nauseating to me.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyron Johnson here as well. Basketball underway. Your Sixers are playing tonight, which is really cute that they're in the play-in. That's so awesome. I wonder if you think they sell that game out tonight, by the way?
Yeah, it's sold out. I know it's
maybe
sold
not.
Out. It is.
You think empty open seats?
It's sold out.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Because I went online just to see what it would cost to go.
Yeah, StubHub.
And it's kind of embarrassing.
What's
if I may? What do you think the get-in price for? I know it's not officially a playoff game.
Yeah.
But it's essentially a playoff game. Because if you lose, you're done.
No.
Right?
They're not. If they
Well,
lose,
the
they still get
9-10,
to play.
if they lose, they're done. The
they're not
7-8
done. Yes.
live to fight
Yeah,
another
they're
day.
not done. Yeah.
But if they lose tonight, it's an embarrassment anyway. They might as well not show up for the next game if they lose tonight. What do you think the getting price is for that sorry basketball team you root for?
Well, being that it's a city of champions, we don't really get excited about this. $40.
Is that right?
Yeah. Why would you get excited about a playing game when you're used to champions?
You're not used to championships with
Eagles
basketball.
have won a couple of Super Bowls.
In football, yeah.
All right, well, it's the city of champions.
Yeah. You're the city of a champion.
No, champions.
Your hockey
Plural.
team sucks.
No, they just made the playoffs.
Your baseball
They're
team
about
stinks.
to beat the Penguins.
Okay.
Baseball team's going to win a division. They're defending NFL
And your basketball
champions.
team's in this embarrassing playing
They're
tournament.
in a tough spot.
Yeah, and it's $26 to go to the game.
That makes sense.
And some tickets have been found for as low as $2.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, what happened to the great sports city of Philadelphia?
They're smart.
I could go to a Sixers playoff game for $2?
No, see, this is the problem. I know you're
$2?
used to the Knicks, right? And right now the Knicks are good, but to the Garden, it doesn't. Like the seats don't care because people just go to the Garden. They just go to the
Every
Knicks.
game.
Whether they're
That's
good
right.
or not, people just go.
Yeah.
In Philadelphia, we have a discerning eye.
Is that right?
Yeah, like Knicks fans go to the
Discerning
bar.
eye?
Yeah, the Knicks fans go to the bar. If the girls are 10 or 1, they don't care. It's warm. That's how Knicks fans work.
Okay.
Sixers fans go to the bar. They only want the best.
Is that right?
So we're not going to tolerate this and go heavy to a play.
Have you been to Kensington?
Have I been to Kensington?
Have you walked the streets of Allegheny?
I don't walk the streets, and I
Yeah.
don't go to Kensington either. I don't need to see those zombies. Okay, I go around Kensington.
Yeah,
I go around
the
Kensington.
discerning fan in Philadelphia.
That's right.
Shoving cheesesteaks down their fat girlfriend's gullets
Nope.
and dropping $10 to go to a playoff game.
Not a
I don't know
playoff
what's
game.
going on in Philadelphia,
It's not a
but
playoff game.
I wouldn't want to be a part of this generation. The Philadelphia
I
sports
understand all
fan
that winning that you
is
don't know
really
nothing about.
losing out to New York these days.
Oh, yeah?
And to Boston these days.
Which New York team wins?
What
Anything?
happened?
What was the last New York championship?
2011.
Huh?
What happened?
Huh?
It's been a few years.
Oh, been a little while. 2009.
No. The Giants. Giants were before the Yankees.
2011?
Yeah,
okay.
2011.
2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that kind of draft.
2011.
I don't know nothing about that kind of
You know
draft.
what it is? Because we got so tired of winning all the time.
Oh, yeah,
That we were like,
sure.
let those fine people in Philadelphia have some success.
I'm going to say this out loud.
Yeah.
New York sports and the New York sports fan, right, has gotten complacent.
Complacent?
Complacent.
I don't think we've got complacent.
Why are you okay with not winning? Like the
We're
fact
not.
that
It
the
depends on
Yankees
the
don't
team,
win all
to
the
be
time.
fair.
Yankees don't win all the time, and
Yeah.
you're the main culprit of this. In fact,
Yeah.
they make the playoffs every year.
Every
so what?
year.
So what? Where's
Every
the
year.
parades? Where are the parades?
Yeah.
You've helped these people. Your Hall of Fame career has been 99% positive.
Yeah.
But 1% you've made these people complacent, okay, losing. And Sixers fans not going to the play-in game.
Shows they're not complacent?
Not complacent because
Got it.
why would you want to go to that
So
game?
your revolt against the Sixers' bad play is by not showing up.
Yes, that's the only thing you can do. It's
by
the
the
only
way,
thing
all
you can
good.
do.
What's the spread in tonight's game?
They
favored?
are 2-point favorites in the game
Oh,
tonight.
so it's basically a pick 'em game. So
Yeah.
barely even favored for the home playoff game.
Yeah, without Embiid, you don't know how this game's
Oh yeah,
going to
no
go.
Joel Embiid tonight. That's right. I forgot that he never played.
They wouldn't be in the play-in
Yeah.
if he was healthy.
Could you imagine, by the way? Because look, Philadelphia's an Eagles town first. That's a fact. No one's going to argue
Yeah,
that
just
with
like
me.
this is a Yankees town first.
It's a Yankee town first,
First.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Here it goes Yankees Giants.
Mm-hmm.
In Philadelphia, it kind of depends on the season. It kind of goes Eagles.
Right.
If I'm being fair about it.
It can be, but Phillies right now are clearly number 2.
Yeah, Phillies, because they have a legitimate shot to maybe win a division or certainly get in as a wild card this year.
Mm-hmm.
And they are a good baseball team. I'm kind of busting your chops on that. But it is interesting. Could you imagine Philadelphia if the Eagles' best player played as little as Joel Embiid has played
No, they
in
cut
their
him.
career?
No, they cut him.
He wouldn't even be there anymore.
Yeah, that's the
right.
It's not. He has a
Like if
guaranteed
Jalen
deal.
Hurts is like, you know what? I don't feel like playing in October.
He has real injuries, but he's injury prone.
Yes.
I don't. It's not a lack
He's
of
all,
want
you have to admit he's soft, though. Is that fair
No,
to say?
these are legit.
He's not a warrior.
He's played with multiple orbital bone fractures.
He's missed 500 games in his career.
But 164 of them
Yeah.
were before he played his first game.
But
those stats are all skewed.
He's missed 500 games.
164 of them are all in one bunch before he ever played his first game.
His rookie
The number-
season.
the first 2
But he
years.
played his second year, didn't he?
No.
I thought he did.
He had the screws in his foot from the broken
Felt like he
foot.
played his second.
No. The
Because wasn't
screws
there the
bent.
big hang on? Wasn't there the big debate in Philly that in his second year, that whether or not it should count as a rookie season, making him eligible for Rookie of the Year?
That was Ben Simmons, who missed his first season.
Yeah, I feel like that was Embiid too.
No, that was Embiid's third year was his first year.
And they still want him to be Rookie of the Year because they were so desperate for a trophy.
The conversation was about Ben Simmons. Malcolm Brogdon won Rookie of the Year that year.
Right, and Ben Simmons could have won it, but
Ben
eligible.
Simmons won his first year.
But he shouldn't have won it because it was his second year as a pro.
But we know the rule.
First year playing, but 2 years after being drafted.
That's the rule for everyone.
That's a garbage rule you guys invented in Philadelphia.
That's not true.
And Ethan and I were talking about it earlier today.
This is ridiculous.
That when things don't go Philadelphia's way, they just invent crap. Like, hey, I know he was drafted 2 years ago, but can we please make him Rookie of the Year? You know, of course, you guys were not the ones that said the league no longer needed LeBron James because Ben Simmons had arrived. That was a former colleague of mine.
Yeah, I know who said that. I know who said that.
And we were all like, tell me you don't know basketball without telling me you don't know basketball.
We were saying that. We saw him every day. We're like, listen, we like him right now, but we still have to see him make a jump shot.
Ben Simmons had a great first season in the NBA.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year.
Great first season.
Yeah,
shouldn't have been Rookie of the Year, but
in the second game, though, we have the Clippers 5.5-point favorites against the Warriors tonight.
Yeah, to me, that's all Clip too.
Yeah, they've been
That's all Clippers. They're playing really good basketball the last month of the season. I know Steph Curry's back, and yes, we've all seen it before. Would I be shocked if Steph Curry goes for 40?
No.
You can't say you'd be shocked if you've seen him do it.
Right.
But I don't think that's happening tonight.
I agree. I think Kawhi's more likely to go for 40.
Yeah.
They go through, and they'll be a tough enough out for what they are.
Yeah, well, they would be the eighth seed.
The eighth seed. So they'd
be the eighth seed, so they get the Thunder.
They're not going to beat them. But they're a tougher matchup than some.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think that's a 4-game sweep too.
Right.
You know, I mean, could you say the Thunder get bored and lose game 4 and come back home up 3-1? Maybe. I could maybe see that if Kawhi or someone goes off and has a huge night. But the East is more interesting right now to me. It's more competitive. There's less of a gap, I think, between all the teams, 1-8 or 1-10. So more basketball coming up tomorrow to see if the Sixers do what we expect them to do, and that's lose. Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyron Johnson here as well. Not going to lie to you, it's 95 degrees in the studio. It's kind of like Vietnam right now. I'm having flashbacks to my time. Why did you the law, man? Real quick on FIFA, for those of you that are paying attention to what's going on with FIFA, it's we should cancel the World Cup. shouldn't be allowed to be played on our country's soil. Considering this corrupt international body known as FIFA is now making all the rules, and we're just sitting by going, thank you, FIFA, for bringing us soccer. Thank you for bringing Europeans into our country to spend their hard-earned money here. FIFA's like the Gestapo. So, obviously, there's a bunch of sites around the country for the World Cup, and the championship game will be in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium. First off, MetLife Stadium is not allowed to be known as MetLife Stadium during the World Cup. They have to cover the sign, and now it's being renamed according to FIFA rules because they can't allow the endorsement to be a part of the broadcast or the telecast and whatnot. So now it's being called the New York, New Jersey Stadium.
I mean, why?
And we just sit back and we go, okay, FIFA, we'll do that. Then you have an issue both here and in Boston and other markets where they're price gouging people who take mass transit to the game. So here in New York, there's a place called Penn Station. It's right near Madison Square Garden in Midtown. It is a 15-minute train from Penn Station to MetLife Stadium. The normal cost round trip of that is $12.90.
Yep. That's
how a good majority of New Yorkers get into and out of the city during our workday, okay? Yep. Park in New Jersey, get on the train. It's essentially $13 round trip. It's a 15-minute train ride. Easy peasy, okay? Right. During the World Cup, it's a $100 ride, okay? So that's a 8x, 8.5x increase in the price to ride the train. Number two, if you normally take that train, you are not allowed to take that train starting 4 hours before the kickoff of a game unless you have a World Cup ticket. So for the millions of people that commute into and out of New York City to do their jobs, they don't have to find alternative transportation because we're protecting those trains for World Cup ticket holders. And then you have what I think is the coup de grace. Number one, the average fan does not get access to the parking lots at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, they can't drive.
There are no parking spots available. Even at an absurd price, you cannot park there. But the real coup de grace, FIFA is outlawing tailgating, meaning you cannot go to the game 3 hours early, set up your little hibachi grill.
It's what I do.
Bring a couple cases of beer and some snacks and appetizers and all the stuff we love to do.
Right.
And maybe kick a ball around with your buddies. They are going to police it. And tailgating is now banned from all stadiums coast to coast by FIFA.
So they're going to force you to go inside, hypothetically, and spend more money there.
Yes.
Because they get a huge percentage of the concession.
So you and I and our friends go to the game. We scored tickets. They're very expensive. Right. Oh, no, by the way.
And hard to get.
The tickets you buy, there's a ruse on that too, are not where you think they are.
No.
They're randomly changing sections of your tickets, which I don't know how that's legal, right? And then when you get there, and you're like, let's beat the traffic, Tyrone. Tell your wife, tell my wife, we're going to go 2 hours early. We're going to have a nice little grill set up. We'll have some drinks. We'll have a nice afternoon. It's in the middle of July.
Right.
Not allowed to do it. And if you're caught doing it, you will be shut down and evicted from the premises. Why are we allowing this? Why are we allowing FIFA to come into our town, our country, and our state? I live in New Jersey. I work in New York, of course, most days of the week. And we're just saying, yes, sir, no, sir, thank you, sir.
It's so
I want a hot dog on the grill.
Of course you do.
In a parking lot before a sporting event.
It's 4th of July, yep.
Yeah, and they're not allowing us to do it.
It's ridiculous. And the price gouging gets worse. They have not sold out everywhere. Now, MetLife, they have sold out the tickets. The demand was very high. But we know they're in a lot of cities.
Yeah.
They have not sold out everywhere. The prices haven't come down. They're now artificially price gouging people on seats that aren't even sold out.
Right. In other words, FIFA sucks.
Yeah.
And then you have, say, like New Jersey. I think it's the same for all the other states that are hosting the World Cup. You've got our Fugazi governor, Mikey Sherrill, coming out saying we're doing a special tax for the World Cup because we know we have a lot of foreigners coming into our city and our state, New Jersey. And everything you buy while the World Cup is happening is going to be 10 times more expensive from a tax standpoint. It's like, why even have the event? Like, I can't afford to go to the game. I don't have that much interest even watching it till we get to like the quarters and the semis and the finals. Unless, of course, America is going on a run that I'll watch all the American games, which are not in New Jersey to start either. But you're charging me $100 for a $12 train ride. You're not letting me tailgate. You're not letting me park. And you're taxing me? Like, who thought this would be a good idea to host the World Cup? And you know the other reality? We're not going to win. We suck at soccer.
Well, we're not going to win, but we don't suck as much as
we suck at soccer.
We're going to advance.
Ugh.
We're winning our group.
FIFA sucks. F you, FIFA. Go home. Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyron Johnson here as well. Well, you probably by now know about the bombshell yesterday. Dianna Russini resigns from her job at The Athletic. Her contract was up at the end of June regardless, so only a couple months left. Writes a pretty lengthy letter that she puts out publicly. At no point in the letter does she take ownership for her actions. Instead, she decides to blame commentators and self-feeding speculation that is simply unmoored from the facts. That's a direct quote. That is from her letter. But at no point does she say, and by the way, yeah, I was having an affair with Mike Vrabel. She did resign, though. And to me, you just announced that you were having an affair with Mike Vrabel. Because your first excuse was cockamamie, that you were on a hiking trip with the girls, or that there were six other people that were there as well. Yeah. And you never produced a single one of those people. You then try to convince The Athletic that all the reporters and the pictures didn't tell the real story, so they supported you. And then The Athletic started doing a full investigation, not just into your alleged relationship with Mike Vrabel, but every other story you've ever put out when under the umbrella of the New York Times and The Athletic. And then when they were getting, I guess, pretty close to the truth about maybe who you are and what you were doing, you decided to stop the investigation by resigning. Now, I think resigning is actually the smart play for her in this regard. I do not think her career is over 100%. You know, when you resign, you know, months from now, years from now, when everyone says to you, hey, by the way, were you fired? No, I wasn't fired. I resigned to try to stop giving oxygen to the story that just wasn't true. Of course, you have no defense, though. You're not telling us what the story is, and maybe you don't have a responsibility to. I understand that logic as well. But when you resign, it's like announcing, all right, you got me. I tried to explain it away with the release. That obviously didn't work because I can't provide you the people that allegedly were with us or with me in Arizona, but nobody seemed to just move on and accept my story. Then I went to my editor. I lied to my editor, And he wanted to believe me, but he's got bosses also. So they started doing an investigation, and I know that the noose is getting tighter. So maybe I can end all the conversation by simply resigning. I actually think it's a smart play, Tyrone. I do.
Now that I heard your side, and I'm not even saying I disagree with it, but there are people out there that feel like these conclusions that you were just stating are unfair. For example,
let's go one by one. Which one?
Okay, now you said that in a way her resignation is an admission.
It's an admission of guilt.
Right.
Yes.
But what about people that say, well, if you're not having an affair, let's say, and let's work off that premise for a moment, then how do you, in a statement, or how do you prove you're not having an affair?
It's simple. If there were 6 people with me, and I'm only saying that because that's what she said, then I produce those 6 people, right? Number 2, I have a press conference. Ask me everything and anything you want.
Now
because remember, if you know in your heart of hearts that you are not guilty of what you're being accused of, then it's very easy to sit in front of people and answer questions about it.
True. Now,
right?
But what about the fact that how do we know she did not share with her bosses those 6 people? And why does she need to do that publicly for us if she told her bosses, here are the other people that were there?
Her first statement was, it's nonsense. It's you're reading into things. The Athletic came right out and kind of doubled down on what her first explanation was. But they were also in the middle, we didn't know at the time, of an investigation. And obviously, it's not going to take them that far long to figure out that there were no other people there, which means the story starts collapsing. And then if I'm going to bring you in with human resources, I've got a lot of pointed questions for you, and you and I both know you can't answer them. Now, I don't need to know all the dirty, gory details of the relationship. I believe that her resignation confirms that there was a relationship. And look, I think it's 50-50. I think Mike Vrabel's got to answer for this as well.
He has to.
I know he's not going to resign. I know they're not going to fire him because he has a different job than she does.
He does.
But I also don't think it's the end of her career.
I agree.
I think that it's not going to be tomorrow that she gets hired, but I think if you lay low for a while, other things hit the news, obviously, that we then become interested in, like the cat with the laser, right?
Yeah, draft next week.
Yeah,
it starts there.
Now, whatever your next job is, the first 24 hours, it's going to be a rehashing of this. You have to suck that up. You can't avoid that. Like, I haven't been in prison in 7 years.
But people do bring it up.
And every story written about me still references the fact that I got in trouble.
Right.
So, unfortunately, you have to live with that the rest of your professional career. I do, and it sucks, and you do, and it's going to suck, but you are going to get another job. Now, you might not have the prestige you had. You might not start off with the same number financially, but you've proven to be a talented broadcaster.
She is talented.
You're a good guest on a lot of these shows that
she absolutely
didn't
is.
even know existed until this thing happened.
She absolutely is.
And there's going to be somebody out there, much like there was for me, that's going to say, let it die down for a little bit. And when you're in a good place, with your marriage, with your family, and with your mental health, we can sit down and talk. She's going to get a job.
Now, is this part, because it's the next point of, a lot of people are saying that this is unfair. Like, for whatever, there will be people out there that will say, the fact that you have to wear it and she has to wear it, people will say those are very different things, and she should not have to wear this because we don't fully know the truth, and 2, she didn't do anything illegal. She didn't do it, and we're not 100% sure she did something immoral yet.
Yeah, I am, but you don't have to be. That's just me, right? It's not been proven like a stack of Bibles, court of law.
Exactly.
And I can't argue that, obviously.
Because I believe, just to be clear,
I don't think it's fair that it's got to be like a scarlet letter. I don't think it's fair that it's a scarlet letter for me, for that matter. Because I know a lot of people, as you do as well, who have had very public issues or fall from graces, and somehow everybody just forgets about it.
And some of them violent, some of them far worse than a person having a problem. I'll just say that out loud.
The thing, what gets me, like, I don't always understand. I guess I do as I'm thinking about it. It depends if people like you or not.
Yep.
Like, I do an opinionated sports talk show. So there are some people that adore me, and there's some people that hate my guts. And the people that hate my guts have no problem reminding me every single day, of the worst moment of my life and the worst decisions I made in my life. I don't think that should be on my tombstone, much like I don't think the fact that I'm in the Hall of Fame should be on my tombstone. I don't think you should be judged by the single best moment of your career, nor by the single worst moment of your career. I think the breadth of your career should speak for you and not the single greatest or single worst moment.
Like Olympic diving. They throw out the high and the low score,
just
and
like
that's how they Olympic diving.
But the thing that I am interested in, which is also fascinating to me, is how many people in our business have now come out in the last week or so and said, you wouldn't believe what I know about people.
Right.
Almost like they're threatening people. Like, you better be careful with your commentary.
Because I'll come after you.
Because I got dirt on you.
Right.
And it happens every day now since this thing went down, where there are people saying, man, I got the tea on so many people, and there are so many people broadcasting this and, taking shots at Dianna Russini and Mike Vrabel. And if you knew what I know about them, then say it.
I agree with you.
Say it.
I agree with you.
Because you can't play that game. Now, you better be able to back it up, unless you want a defamation lawsuit coming your way. But I do find it interesting how so many people are saying, if you knew what I know, well, I don't know what you know. But if you're going to threaten us with it,
right,
then have the balls to back it up.
Yeah, because I've been saying consistently.
Because we eat our own.
We do.
In the media. We love attacking our own people.
Yeah, so I was saying, regardless of whether or not it went to an affair, I thought it was odd that a journalist would be in a hot tub with a coach that she covers actively. Someone goes, well, where did that become the line? I go, well, wait a second. You know about this happening other times?
I don't.
If you do, tell us. I'm not saying throw Hunter under the bus. Throw them all under the bus. If there are a bunch of people, journalists, hot tubbing with coaches, I want to hear about all of them.
Yeah, now, this is not going to die today. Next time Vrabel speaks publicly, this will be the questions.
After the draft.
And then it starts dying down after that. We have mini camps and training camps. It's one of those deals where you only have to talk about it once, but you got to talk about it once. Yeah. Now, she has not talked about it publicly. She tried.
I think she will.
That one tweet about football, nothing about the story.
Yeah.
And now she's put out, essentially a press release, a statement. But, when she does get her next job, she's going to have to talk about it. And then the question becomes, is she in a good enough place in her personal life where you can even laugh about it? And that doesn't happen overnight. I can tell you that from personal experience. That is a process and a journey. More on this coming up right after this. Hang on.
I got to tell you, Kansas basketball the last 3 months, if I was the number one player in the country, I'd cross them off my list. Bill Self did not do Darren Peterson any favors. And now Badunga's going to stay in college but leave Lawrence? I'm red flags in my opinion.
Spotlight, that it's being viewed accurately, and that it's working with lawmakers on, common sense proposals.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We may be talking about this as one of the best divisions in baseball. It's not generally something we do, but if the Pirates just hold court and the Reds just hold court and the Cubs are in this thing, the Brewers are going to be there in the end too. I mean, that's 4 of the 5 teams. I do think the Cardinals are going to push back at some point, they'll fall back a little bit, but I got 4 teams with a possibility of making the postseason here, Donnie.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
There's all these idiots out there sounding off on Tiger right now. See, it's so easy to go after a guy that's hurt. He's hurt. Whether you call it whatever you want. He's got a little bit of an issue he's going to fix. Okay? They're attacking. Attack. Why don't you all shut up and let him go do his thing? He had to leave the country to do it because of privacy? That's nauseating to me.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as well. So Dianna Russini resigns, of course, blaming everybody else and blaming all the attention and people running off at the mouths on radio and TV for her resignation. To me, that's not at all why she resigned. She resigned because she just can't get her way out of it because There's no defense. There's no, hey, you got the story wrong, and that's unfortunate. And I also think there's probably an issue over at The Athletic with their employees saying, why are we treating her any differently than you would treat me? Right? If I did something like that, you'd fire me in a second. And just because she's high profile doesn't mean that she should be treated any differently. So my gut is that there was probably some pushback in the walls of The Athletic.
Probably.
I also still find it interesting where it's easier for some people to talk about it now who didn't talk about it at all. I thought it was interesting on Pro Football Talk where two guys I'm friendly with, both Chris Sims and Mike Florio,
who initially said nothing.
And Chris Sims was trying to start telling a story yesterday that he's got a number of active coaches and GMs and players in the league that are reaching out to him to talk to him about the Russini scandal and maybe some other people that might be doing similar things. And Mike Florio shut him down and wouldn't allow him to discuss publicly the content of those text messages that Chris said he was getting. Now, Mike Florio and NBC and Chris, they're partners with the NFL.
They are.
Is there a chance the NFL has reached out to its partners and said, we respect you guys have jobs to do, but let's not make this any worse than it already is?
Possibly.
Is the NFL going to investigate Mike Vrabel?
I think they are.
For, I'm going to use the word tampering?
I think they are. I think they will.
How do you not?
And the other part
Right?
is that I think the NFL.
Because, pardon me, like you're a Philly guy.
Yeah.
You could make an argument
They mess with my team.
that they messed with A.J. Brown as a player
Yeah.
and with the Eagles as a team.
Absolutely.
And if I'm A.J. Brown, theoretically, I can make an argument. You heard my value.
Yeah. Now, yesterday, just because you brought it up, Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni addressed the media. And at least 4 different questions were basically about directly Dianna Russini and her alone's reporting about A.J. Brown. Not Schefter, not league reporting, her reporting. Connecting him to the Patriots. They had to answer four different ways because the media is going to ask about it.
I saw Howie's comment. I didn't see Nick's.
Yeah. Howie, that was he was a few where he had to say, so he asked, he goes, how'd you think I was going to answer that? Did you think like that? That was already the 3rd time he had been asked about it.
Yeah.
And then Nick Sirianni was like, he's a part of our team. We look forward to having him on our team because what else can you say? But it was a direct response to her reporting.
Yeah, I do feel bad for her, even though her wounds are self-inflicted, in my opinion. I know her dad's a plumber in New Jersey. I know he listens to my show and to our radio station. And I know what my family went through, but I do feel bad for the Russini family.
I do as well.
Because no matter where you turn, they're talking about your daughter.
Yeah.
Right? You'll protect your daughter with your own life if you have to, right? But at some point, you also have to have that tough conversation with your adult daughter that she put herself in harm's way. In any event, she's going to land somewhere, and that'll be like a huge first ever appearance because everyone's going to want to hear her version of it. And wherever she does wind up, that's going to be the first thing she has to talk about. Like if I offered Dianna Russini a job to be here with us, the first question is, who are the Eagles going to draft? The first question is, walk us through the relationship with Mike Vrabel, and it's going to be a tough hour for her. How many other coaches did you sleep with?
See, that's a tough
Right?
thing. That's a tough one.
Right?
That is unfortunately a tough one.
When did the relationship start? Did his wife know about it? Did your husband know about it?
Right.
How many stories did you get that weren't even Titan or Patriot stories because Mike knew what was going on with other teams or players?
Like allegedly she was getting things from the competition committee, allegedly because
he was on
Vrabel
it.
was on the committee.
Yeah. So
Allegedly.
and I said this, I remember, I'll never forget. I said it to Jen Sturger. So when Jen Sturger and the Brett Favre thing went down, she agreed to do one interview, and it was with me. All right? And she started crying in the middle of the interview. She left the studio. I talked to her in a hallway at WFAN, and I convinced her to come back and finish it. I said, if you walk out now, you're not done with it.
Right, you got to do it all over again.
Yeah, I go, but I promise you, if you stay here and finish the interview, you never have to talk about it again. And she did come back, and then she made a different life decision that that's all she was ever going to talk about, and put it in her comedy act, which unfortunately wasn't funny either. But she then decided, I guess she became unhireable, that I'm going to make my entire career now about Brett Favre trying to bang me, right?
Right.
Even though she said she never met Brett Favre, he sent her a picture of his junk, and it wasn't very impressive, and she never went to the hotel room to sit on it. So, you can handle this kind of thing in a lot of different ways. Yeah.
But
you got to do it once.
You do have to.
And I'll tell you why. Because whoever hires her, if you don't grill her about it, then you lose credibility.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's how that goes.
Now, for sure, 100%. Now, you brought up the Vrabel and a possible investigation.
I think they need to investigate if he tampered, yeah.
If we find out that they did have an affair, like they find proof of some kind, the NFL will find out.
I've seen the proof, Tyrone.
Okay.
You got to go with me on that one.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you've seen it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I'm saying.
Oh, baby.
No.
Oh.
What I'm talking about, if they find that, and he, in a way, or somebody admits that he was feeding her stories in some way.
Yeah.
What kind of punishment? She's out of a job, whether she resigned,
That's
quit,
a great question.
fired, she's out. He's not going to get fired. I'm not saying that, but he has to be punished if he does that.
Yeah.
What punishment does he get?
So I guess it depends.
It's mandatory.
I guess it depends if it's the league or the team. In this case, I think it'd have to be the league, right? Because the Patriots aren't going to punish him. So I think the league. Look, I think the league could take a draft pick away from the Patriots and find Mike Vrabel.
Okay.
Right?
Could you suspend him some games?
Yeah, you could. I'm
Like
not sure if a coach has ever been suspended.
Oh, yeah.
Head coach?
Well, we know Peyton was suspended a whole year.
Oh, yeah. That was a full year.
For a bounty gate.
My bad.
And,
You're right.
So for me, if it's true, I got to take 2 games from him.
Yeah,
I have to because you can't do that. You're also wrong.
Yeah.
You knew what you were doing.
Yeah,
you were wrong.
But by the way, he's not going to get, if they do fine them or take games away or suspend them or whatever. I want to be clear about this. It's not because he was having sex with her. No.
That's legal.
Like, you can cheat on your wife all day and night if you want
legal.
to. It's not breaking the law.
Right, that's legal.
Right? Are you using the relationship to give the Patriots an upper hand, either in free agents, in trades, in drafts?
It's bad for the shield.
Yeah. So, I want to be clear about that. And Dianna Russini did not resign because she had sex with a coach. It's because she's covering the coach that she had sex with, allegedly.
Right.
And that's a big distinction. Coming up, the end of golf as we know
it. For those people who use YouTube, there's a new feature that is powered by AI. And what is this exactly, Simon?
So let's say you're watching Yankees highlights, and you can say, YouTube, when is the next game at Yankee Stadium? You see that information on the screen. How much is the cost? What seats are available? You see that information on the screen. All right, call the Yankee Stadium box office. I want to make a reservation for 2 tickets.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The process is closed. Let's call it out for this, right? And is it their fault? You could, they've been just besieged and impeded, but it just continues, Kevin, right? As soon as he's like, don't worry about my health, and then here we are, right? I would have traded him a couple of years ago. I would have gotten ahead of the curve, Kevin.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
At the end of the day, LeBron's going to have to put that team on his back. Can he do it? I don't know if he could do it for a 7-game series. Can he give you 2, oh my goodness, LeBron at 31? Yeah, I think he can give you a couple of those games. But it's about the other guys that have to step up.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
You build teams in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round, right, Donnie? Yeah. That's where you build. That's where you get the depth. That's where you build the team. So teams looking for draft capital very much could be alive and well in this draft coming up because there's just nobody to mortgage the future for because you need your franchise guy. They're just not in this draft.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Breaking news in the world of sports. There's an emergency meeting being held in New York City this morning. May have actually already started or it's in progress now. And that is that Live Golf is apparently, according to the rumors, coming to an end. That the experiment was a failure and they're going to wrap it up. that the Saudis are done throwing the kind of money they've thrown at these golfers and at these events, and Live Golf will be no more. And it's a real shame because they had a shot. They blew it, in my opinion, but they had a shot to really create a major change and upgrade for the sport of golf. And to be fair, while a lot of golfers didn't go to Live, they did change golf as we know it.
Absolutely.
By having higher purses.
Players got more say.
Yeah.
They got a seat at the table.
And golf's a better sport because of Live.
Yes.
The problem with it, and I find it funny when people say, well, you know, the biggest mistake that Live made was going to 54 holes. That's why it's called Live. If it was still 72 holes, it'd be called Lixie. And nobody wants to watch a golf event called Lixie.
Come on, man.
Like, LIV is the Roman for 54. That's why it's called Live.
Right, but
so for all you knuckleheads that are going, you know, they should have made it 72 holes. Okay, fine. What would you have called it?
What do you mean? Who cares about the name?
It wouldn't be Live.
You could have called. Who cares about Live?
It would be Lixie.
We already have a Liv. She's dating the best pitcher in the sport of baseball.
Livy Dunn?
Yeah, we good with a Liv. We don't need.
Nah,
we
you
got
need
Liv
another
Morgan in the
Liv.
WWE. We don't need another Liv. They could have called it something else and made it golf.
And then the second thing people say is they never should have had teams. We love teams in this country.
Not golf.
We
Not
don't?
just week-to-week golf. No.
Every time I play golf for money when I used to, it was usually me and you versus them two.
Yeah. You
Right?
see,
A scramble, I think we called it.
Craig, you do know that when it comes to the back of your day, you were a prolific gambler.
Yes.
In your day.
In my day, yes,
in your
I
day,
was.
I mean,
Yes.
not now. In
Yes.
your day.
Yeah.
Not a lot of guys are just one-on-one.
You tell me, but gambling, right?
Yeah, but and some people, I know people who just golf because they like it.
Not me.
And they don't.
I never met that guy. If there was the money on it, I
you
wasn't
know they
playing.
exist. But this meeting that allegedly is happening.
It's happening now, I guess.
Do you think it really could be the end? And there's one other part of this. That fund that started with Liv.
Yeah, the Saudi
They have now taken that money and put it into a lot of other sports and into pro wrestling. Like there's a WrestleMania.
Riyadh, right?
Yeah, going because they took that money and put it to other places.
Well,
and they've
look.
got a better ROI from some of the other sports.
Yeah,
more
for sure
than golf.
they did. Yeah, they lost hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on it. And at some point, even though they're oil rich, they're like, we're not stupid.
It's wasting.
We tried to greenwash and sports wash our money in the Western civilization, and it was good for the first year because people talked about it.
But after that,
I would think if I'm a PGA golfer that did not join Liv, and Liv is disbanding now, what a moron I was. I could have taken the money, sucked up the abuse for 4 years, and been rich beyond belief and come right back home.
Well, hold on. See, that's the tough thing. They're not letting them back home.
They're going to let him back
They're
because
going to have to
be
cut.
allowed to
No, they're
ban-
going to have to cut a check.
Maybe
they're
they-
not just letting him. DeChambeau's not back because DeChambeau didn't want to write the check.
Like $5 million they want from him or something like that,
No,
right?
they want money and they want some of your purse. Oh no, when you come back, you win a tournament. You're not
They're
getting
going to
your
lose
full
that
money.
in court, though.
They're
going
not
to lose
gonna
that in court.
No, it's they're not
Because I think
it's
they're
a
allowed to do
private.
it because Liv still exists. Because Liv's going away now.
No, there's other tours you can play on. No,
I'm not sure
there's
there
other
are.
professional.
What are you
there
going to go to the Corn Ferry Tour?
You can. Isn't there a Nike tour? There are other tours you
They're
can
like
play
the minor
on.
leagues, but I guess they
you
exist,
can do it. So no. And because they're private, you see how the Masters always wins? Golf is different. They're going to have to come back hat in hand with humility.
That's going to be interesting,
And
right?
that's why I wonder if some of those guys are willing to do it.
I do think, though, that golfers today, even though he's the most disliked guy, Phil Mickelson and Greg Norman, a debt of gratitude. Because if those guys didn't help the Saudis start Liv,
Norman, not Mickelson.
then the money wouldn't be what it is right now.
Norman, yes. Mickelson.
Norman for sure, because he was like the founder of it.
Mickelson had a lot of gambling debts, took the money. But
Mickelson was also the first big name to go. So I give him a little credit for being a trailblazer. If they played 72 holes. Because that's my issue.
That's your whole issue.
Lixie.
Why does it have to have Roman numerals in it?
Because that's why it's called Live.
Right, but
because the Saudis like Roman numerals, apparently. So does the NFL, for that matter.
Right, but they don't call their league that. They call it Super Bowl.
Yeah, but the league was named after Roman numerals.
Right, but that's dumb.
So if you're going to use that as
you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
Hey, you want to go to Detroit and see the Lixie tour? And by the way, it's not bad.
Nobody went to Detroit to see the Live tour. You're acting like people love Live. But once they make
hey,
the
you want
Lixie,
to
they
go
won't
to
do it.
Tampa to see the Lixie
This
tour?
is not a Twitter X situation. This is not
Anyhow, Live is dead. Lixie never got off the ground. Golf is still boring.
It's not boring.
And there's going to be other rich guys wearing plaid
That's true.
coming back to the PGA with smiles on their faces because they're rich. Like Daffy Duck rich. I'm rich. I tell you I'm rich.
Scrooge McDuck rich.
Scrooge McDuck. They're all rich. Anyway, have yourselves a great day. And remember, whatever you're doing today, you're having a better day than Dianna Russini is.